What's going on, YouTube? Blue Falcon here, coming to you with another video. So this one should be interesting because today we have an interview between Elon Musk and a BBC reporter. Now this one should be awesome because apparently Elon Musk slaughters this guy. So let's see how this turns out.
Free speech is meaningless unless you allow people you don't like to say things you don't like. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. And if at the point at which you lose free speech, it doesn't come back.
I think the issue some people have is that a lot of people were brought back. I mean, some people were brought back who were previously banned for spreading things like QAnon conspiracies. You have people like Andrew Tate who were brought back, who were previously banned for things like hate speech. Do you think you prioritize freedom of speech over misinformation and hate speech?
Well, you know, who's to say that something is misinformation? Who's the arbiter of that? Is it the BBC?
And you're literally asking me?
Yes.
Well, no, you are the arbiter on Twitter, because you own Twitter.
Yes, I'm saying who is to say that one person's misinformation is another person's information? At the point at which you say that there is, this is misinformation, like who is going to decide that?
You accept that misinformation can be dangerous, that it can cause real-world harms, that it can potentially cause...
Yes, so the point I'm trying to make is that the BBC itself has, at times, published things that are false. Do you agree that that has occurred?
I'm quite sure the BBC have said things before that turn out to not be true. In its, whatever it is, 100-year history, I'm quite sure.
Yes. Even if you aspire to be accurate, there are times when you will not be.
You see, that is such a perfect answer. Notice what Elon Musk said. Even if you aspire to tell the truth all the time, there's no way you would actually know if you're being truthful all the time. I mean, information changes literally by the second. When I was in elementary school, they used to teach us that Pluto was the 9th planet. Go check out your science books today. Pluto is not even considered a planet. So information is changing all the time. I mean, all we can hope with freedom of speech is that you try to be as honest as possible. And who's going to be the one to determine whether or not you were being honest or not? I mean, this is the rhetoric that BBC is trying to kind of corner Elon Musk into doing, right? But Elon Musk, good job for standing up for freedom of speech and allowing people like Andrew Tate to actually be able to speak his piece.
They've already given me quite a few warnings, and I'm now at the point where I actually truly believe they're going to try and kill me.
So you've had messages from people trying to control you who you think would kill you?
I understand that you get 3 strikes in this game. Strike 1 is they try and shut you up and discredit you, which I've just been through. Strike 2 is they try and put you in jail for no reason, and strike 3 is they kill you.
Right? Whether you agree with Andrew Tate or not, but I mean, that is what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech.
Times when you will not be.
We've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter,
right?
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content, yeah, personally. But I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
So you see more hate speech personally?
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. And so
If something is slightly sexist, it should be banned. All right, so how about women who say men that have small dick energy?
My question is, so you would not allow the guy to have other girls?
Do you, boo?
Okay, so you would allow it?
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's a smart decision.
Do you?
Because if you meet a guy that makes the kind of money you make at your age, I think you have less leverage than you think you do. You gotta let them do what they want to do.
Do you, boo? But I'ma do me too.
So you're gonna hook up with other guys?
Why not?
If you're doing it, we could do it too. Shit.
No, but that's not the way they see it.
Look, I'm looking at your dick right now, and you,
That's
it
not the
looks
way
like
they
you don't
see
got
it.
a little dick, but you have mad like. I'm just being honest. I'm looking at your dick, and it don't look like you give me a lot of little dick.
I mean, I think that's pretty sexist, right? Wouldn't you agree that women saying that men have small dick energy? I think that's pretty sexist, right? What about women who come around and say that, oh, if men are below 6'2", that they don't deserve a shot? I mean, I think that's pretty sexist. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, and it's always interesting. It's only sexist if men were to talk against women. That would be sexist. What about when Cardi B literally mentioned how she used to drug men and steal their money? I mean, maybe that's sexist. Hey, but here's the thing, right? To be in all fairness, at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech. So I guess Cardi B doesn't deserve to be banned. But by their logic, she should have been out the door. I mean, the hypocrisy is unreal.
does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
You
don't.
can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you
And
said
actually,
you've-
a lot of people are quite similar. I only look
hang on
at
a second.
my following.
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
Well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using it. I've been using.
Bullshit. That's what it is. This man doesn't know nothing about Twitter. He doesn't use it. They're just trying to corner Elon Musk. And what's so brilliant about this man is that, you see, this is one thing you need to learn, right? When you are being questioned by anybody, you're not under any obligation to answer. And notice what Elon Musk is doing. He's actually giving the reporter some questions that he needs answers to, right? I mean, that tactic is so brilliant. I mean, man, that tactic is so brilliant. I mean, even in the Bible, it says you don't owe no man anything but to love them. Shit, you don't need to answer these questions. You don't need to answer these questions, because what you'll find out is that these questions are so laced. These questions are so laced. It's all designed just to get you trapped, and so that you can be looked as some type of terrorist, some social terrorist, or whatever the case may be. Or you inciting hateful speech and all this other bullshit. Nah. He's asking him the questions. I mean, what hateful speech have you found on Twitter? And this man can't even answer. And the answer, not a word. Wow.
Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. And I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
Then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed...
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not... I mean, right, and
literally
you can get something
one.
like the strategic dialogue.
Man, this boy is moonwalking, backtracking on everything he's saying. Oh, I haven't said it, but other reporters have said it. Man, this guy's a smooth criminal.
Institute in the UK. They will say that. So
Look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time. COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, it then disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else. You want to talk about the BBC?
You too.
All right, let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
Woo! Man, let's applaud Mr. Elon Musk for sure for handling himself in such a profound way. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, he said that we were interviewing you, and Elon Musk said, oh no, but I'm interviewing you, right? And this is what you need to learn. Again, you're not obligated to answer anybody's questions. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I mean, just because somebody asks you a question, you're under no obligation to answer. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. All right, you guys? I mean, it is called freedom of speech. And who determines whether or not, you get what I'm saying? Whether or not you're allowed to say something or you're not allowed to say something. And then even with COVID misinformation, I mean, did they ever report how many people got sick by taking the vaccines? Crickets. I mean, have they ever reported how many people that took this booster shot and then this booster shot? I mean, it's like a damn anime at this point.
Sensor boost, greater luck, magic boost, dragonic power, greater harden, heavenly aura, absorption, penetrate up, greater magic shield.
It's ridiculous. And these people, you know, I actually saw something that said that the people that took the vaccine shots were more susceptible to actually receiving COVID or obtaining COVID again. So then what's the point of the COVID shot? Hey, I'm no scientist. I'm not Mr. Dr. Fauci or whatever his name is. I ain't none of that. But I have common sense. Look, I'll end off this. I'll land the plane by saying this. I remember I had a TikTok channel, right? And it was growing too. It was finally starting. I was finally starting to make some strides. And just like that, boom, they banned me. Why? Because I was for freedom of speech, pretty much. I mean, you can't just say what things are anymore. You can't. A man can't be a man. A woman can't be a woman. I mean, up is not up. Down is not down. Everything is in reverse. So, I mean, look, I think Elon Musk did a fantastic job pointing out the hypocrisies of these news reporters. All right? He definitely owned BBC today. I think we all should give him an applause. Anyway, if you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and do all that YouTube stuff. With that being said, Blue Falcon over and out. Jesus is king, y'all.
Game to win. Game hard.